the XL back with another NFXL podcast. I've decided to split my power rankings, MVP and Offensive Rookie of the Year, into separate pieces this week. So this is just going to look at the MVP race and the race for Offensive Rookie of the Year as well. So let's have a quick look at the MVP now. I'm starting to really focus this in as we go into the final third of the season and narrow the field down. So at the moment, there are two or three that are clearly ahead in this race. The first of those being Matthew Stafford, who have another huge week in week 12. The Rams are just playing exceptional football at the moment. He's averaging 257 passing yards a game, has 30 passing touchdowns at 2.7 a game, and has thrown just two picks. Stafford's playing the football of his life, arguably, at the moment, and is, for me, the front runner for MVP right now. But after his performance in week 12, Patrick Mahomes moves up from the fifth spot in my list last week to number 2 this week. He's actually passing for more yards per game than Stafford, but he's throwing for less touchdowns, has also had 7 picks. He does have some rushing ability, obviously, as well, 28.9 rushing yards per game and 4 rushing touchdowns. But it's more his influence on that Chiefs team that's keeping him in the wildcard race, and obviously his well-earned reputation over the years. So he's probably the main rival to Stafford for MVP right now, as I see it. Dropping down from 1 to 3 is Jonathan Taylor. He didn't do anything hugely wrong in week 12, but the Colts lost, and players tend to go as the teams go in these races, and it's hard for a running back to win this anyway. They need, everything needs to go right for him. So I've dropped Taylor from 1 to 3. Having said that, he still has 1,465 scrimmage yards and 17 touchdowns this season, which puts him on course for 2,264 yards and 26 touchdowns. Now, that's 19 yards fewer than Saquon Barkley had last year, but would be 10 more touchdowns. He's already beaten Barkley's 16 touchdowns of last season. So if Barkley was raved about last season, Taylor even more so this. So he's still a candidate. There's the three that are clear at the moment. I've dropped Drake May down from 3 to 4. He's now on the edges of this race. Although, as long as the Patriots continue to win, he's still going to get mentioned. He's passing for 260 yards a game, which is slightly more than Stafford, but less than Mahomes. 1.75 touchdowns a game, more than Mahomes, but less than Stafford. 6 picks, about the same as Mahomes. He's similar rushing stats to Mahomes as well, slightly less. But for a rookie to be or a young quarterback, not a rookie, a young quarterback to be mentioned in this race, May's having a great season. Then I've trimmed all the other quarterbacks out at the moment. So I've taken the likes of Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson all out from last week's list. Because if Stafford and Mahomes are dominating the quarterback vote, then really those have got to do something miraculous from here to get back in the race. So I've taken them out. But I have left 3 other players in from a variety of positions. Firstly, a wide receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba, up from 11 to 5 in this week's list. 119.4 scrimmage yards a game is what he's producing. He's now had 7 touchdowns after 2 this week. He's had 800-yard games with a low of 90, so incredibly consistent. He's on target for the first ever 2,000-yard receiving season. Calvin Johnson currently holds the NFL record with 1,964, which he did in 2012, but that was in a 16-game season. So a bit of an asterisk there that Smith-Njigba would have had an extra game to do it, but that would be quibbling. If he gets to 2,000, brilliant. The fact he's on course for that means he should be getting MVP mentions. And similar comments apply to Myles Garrett, who I haven't even had on the list up until now. But 3 more sacks in week 12 give him 18 for the season. The NFL record is 22.5 by Michael Strahan and TJ Watt. That's the official record, although Al Baker unofficially had 23 for Detroit in 1978 before they were really counting sacks. So 1 a game for Matt Garrett from here would give him 25. So again, like Smith-Njigba, he's on to break all-time NFL records. And if you're doing that, and Garrett's doing it on a really bad team, they should be getting mentions for MVP, in my opinion. And the same can be said of Christian McCaffrey, who stays at 7. Now, if Taylor's had 1,465 scrimmage yards, McCaffrey's actually had 1,581. But he has had fewer touchdowns, 12. he would be on target for 2,239 yards and 17 touchdowns, which again is in the same ballpark as pretty much the same as Barkley produced last season. So again, McCaffrey should be getting mentioned in this race for me. They're the seven that are in that race as far as I'm concerned right now. So let's move on to offensive rookie of the year. This is still quite open, but I've moved Aston Jonte up from 2 to 1. Now I've seen people giving him a little bit of stick as not producing in his rookie season. I read an article recently that he wouldn't even be the first running back drafted. What are they talking about? He's produced 825 yards and 8 touchdowns behind a truly appalling O-line for the Raiders and on a team that's struggling. So what more do you want the guy to do? For me, he's the leader for Offensive Rookie of the Year at the moment. He's taken over from Emeka Egbuka, who has 758 yards and 6 touchdowns. So statistically behind Jonte. I know it's a different position, but and he's had a fantastic season. But in recent weeks, he's struggled a little bit more. So I've moved Jonte up to number 1 this week. Quinshon Judkins moves up from 4 to 3, 737 yards and 7 touchdowns. Again, in a wide open race, if you listen to all his stats, 700, 800 yards, they're all in that bracket. So it's a close race. Trevion Henderson moves up from 7 to 4. He's had one more rushing yard than Judkins with 738, but one fewer touchdowns at 6. So I've got him behind Judkins. He's also on a better team than Judkins, so that helps him. Teteroy McMillan stays at 5. He's got 783 yards and 5 touchdowns. So again, that's the bracket we're looking at, and anybody who's outside that needs to get up into that area. Now Tyler Warren drops from 6 to 3. He's another one going through a bit of a quiet spell. 668 yards and 4 touchdowns, which for a tight end is really good. So he's well in the race too. New entry at 7. Sounds like reading out the pop charts here. Woody Marks. He's now got 607 yards and 4 touchdowns, so he's sneaking into the race. Carl Monangai moves up from 11 to 8 with his 558 scrimmage yards and 4 touchdowns. Aronde Gadsden down from 6 to 9, 507 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's got, 100 odd yards to catch, 150 yards to catch Warren and a couple of TDs to be the best tight end, rookie tight end, which is the first battle he needs to win. Marion Hampton stays at 10. He's on his way back from injury. If he came back from injury and finished strong, he could get himself back into the race because he might push the Chargers across the line as well. Harold Fanning drops from 8 to 11. He's behind Gadsden by 25 yards and but has the same number of touchdowns. Colston Loveland up from 13 to 12. He's nearly 100 yards behind Fanning, but does have one more touchdown. Jackson Dart 13, well, he needs to get back on the field. Ja'Cory Crossing-Merritt's dropped from 12 to 14. He's falling out the race, in all honesty, because he's fallen out of being running back 1 at the Commanders. So his time on this list might be limited. And the one I have removed this week is Tyler Shugg because he's just not doing enough for the Saints. So that's how I see MVP and Offensive Rookie of the Year after week 12. I'll update that again after week 13 and I'll come back with me team power rankings next. See you soon.